Funding for this video series was made possible by the USDA National Institute of Food and Agriculture's Beginning Farmer and Rancher Development Program.
My name's Mark Jirak, and I'm owner and partner in Jirak Family Produce that my family and I, 6 kids, and my wife run and operate for the last 18 years. We started the farm back in 2005, and then about 3 years ago, we purchased the farm that we're standing on today. And so this ground we actually own, and we put up 4 high tunnels that are 96 by 30 high tunnels. We grow primarily tomatoes and some peppers in. And then we farm about 7 acres of the tillable ground here in the Spring Creek River bottoms. We grow a lot of different peppers, including bell peppers, snacking peppers, jalapenos, poblanos, and habanero peppers as well. We really like to grow peppers. We have about 7,000 pepper plants here on the farm this year. Most of those being bell, but a few of them being specialty. About 2,000 of them are snacking peppers. The reason that we got into peppers was primarily because there was a market for it, right? So our schools kind of got us started in food service, is where we started growing some bell peppers. And then we got requests for some specialty peppers. Hey, we want some habaneros, we want some poblanos, jalapenos. So based on their suggestion, we grew them. And then we tried some snacking peppers. We knew that the schools might be interested because they liked grape tomatoes, like finger foods that are low prep, and but the kids will eat them. And so we started to grow some snacking peppers, and the schools liked them, and we expanded, and now we're up to 2,000 snacking pepper plants out here. You learn from your mistakes. One of the first things I learned is to go double row. One of the important things is to get the peppers shaded, because they invariably will sunburn if they get exposed, especially after a storm in the middle of the summer. So it's important to get shade on those peppers. So I go double row on all my peppers. The other thing is I stake and string them. So that holds the canopy up and holds that pepper up, allows them to get a little taller, again, providing more shade. What we noticed is when we had peppers and we'd get a storm and they weren't supported like that, they tended to fall down and they exposed that pepper again, and you got a lot of loss to sunburn. So those are 2 things. We also put all of our peppers on plastic for weed control and also to get them started earlier in the spring. And we run drip lines underneath that plastic. So everything is, we're capable of being able to drip irrigate, which is also important. Labor requirement for peppers, a lot of it's at planting, right? To actually get the plant set and started and the irrigation set up, and then staking them and twine is a lot of labor. And then, you know, it's basically keeping the weeds down, either in the row where the holes are, where the peppers, or between the rows. You know, we end up manually hoeing it. So most of the labor is provided by my kids and I and my wife. So pretty much all of it, other than harvest and planting, we rely mainly on family to do provide all the labor. Peppers aren't tremendously labor intensive until you get to harvest. I mean, picking peppers, especially the small specialty peppers like snacking peppers, it takes a lot of peppers to make a pound, 15 to 20 depending on the size. So if you have a 70-pound order, you can imagine it takes some time to get them all picked. And they're a pretty bushy plant, and getting in there and finding the ripe ones. So picking labor can be pretty time consuming. Peppers don't have a lot of pests. I don't see a lot of disease on the peppers. The one thing I might see is some insect feeding, and if you'll notice some of the peppers, if you go through on the snacking peppers, especially that are ripe, the grasshoppers have started to eat, and they'll eat on the fruit. Once cucumber beetles run out of other things to eat, they'll eat anything in the fall, so you'll begin to see them show up as well. But peppers, by and large, at least for this geography, have very few pests. As far as packaging difference between the wholesale or food service and schools, really not a lot of difference. We sell it all in bulk containers, so at farmers markets you take it out of the bulk container and display it on the table, and then as it's purchased in small numbers, like 2 or 3 peppers at a time, you put them in a bag and they take them with them home. In the case of food service or schools, we'll put them in tubs or lugs that we have that are food grade plastic, and deliver them to the school that way. How did I get into those markets like the kitchens and the schools? So there's a farm to school program, and so Barb Depew at the state office in Topeka, I just had extra stuff and I didn't know what to do, and I just said, well, maybe the schools could use it. So I reached out to her, and within 24 hours I had 5 schools contact me, right? And so instantly we started to work with them. And so we've got 5 public schools and 2 private schools that buy from us. You grow and get more accounts by winning their confidence and show them you can deliver high quality product and on a consistent basis. Now they have some understanding that Mother Nature can throw curveballs, and so you may sometimes have shortages, but as long as you communicate that, they're fine. Storage requirements for peppers, they're pretty simple, and now we're picking and selling, right? We've taken a floral cooler and repurposed it for produce, and so we can hold some stuff. I've got peppers in there right now as we speak. It's clearly a different management scheme when you move into the high tunnels. You're allowed to start earlier, your season goes longer. You know, you see the peppers here, we might be 2 foot tall. Those peppers in there are up to my shoulder, so they get a lot larger, a lot bigger. The fruit quality is fantastic. The other thing that we can do, we can grow colored peppers in there, and it's a bit shaded, and I think next year we may put shade cloth on it even more, just to reduce the amount of sunburn. You grow yellow and orange peppers out here, just because they're light colored, you get a lot of sunburning on them. So we tried to grow them in the high tunnel. But there's clearly the fertility management, the water management is obviously different, and then just things that you wouldn't have to deal with in the field, you have to deal with in there, but vice versa. You know, some of the things you have to deal out here, like a 6-inch rain, well, I don't have to worry about that on those peppers in there. I'm controlling all that. So make sure you have a market. There's nothing more frustrating than growing a crop, and we found out that this year because of COVID, markets that we normally count on and we've lost, is grow a beautiful crop, a big crop, and then not have a home for it. So be as good a marketer as you are a grower. That's what I would tell you, is make sure you can sell what you grow. You got to be good at both. That's clearly a tip. And then find people that appreciate quality and freshness. You know, there's a lot of people growing big acreage peppers out of California and Florida that can beat you on price, but if you do it right, you can always beat them on quality. And that's where you can make a difference. And there's a segment out there that does appreciate quality, that they're willing to pay for it for the experience and for the health benefits, and aren't necessarily looking for something that looks like a pepper and feels like a pepper, but may not taste or have the same nutrition that you get out of something right out of the field.